Good morning, kiddos. We're ready for some phonics and reading this morning. Now, when we work on our phonics, we're going to see some parts of a word or chunks. Now, these chunks, they don't get Chunky Monkey all excited because the chunk is not make a real word all by itself. But as we look at these chunks of words, we're going to think about how if we know one of those words, we can read a whole bunch of that kind of word. And I call that being in a word family. But not only can we read them if we know just one, we can read a whole bunch of those words, but we can also write a whole bunch of those words just by knowing one of them. So let's take a look at what I'm showing you here. This is the chunk app. And we can sound that out, app. I guess Chunky Monkey maybe would get a little bit excited because he's like, oh, an app. That's what we have on our iPads, isn't it? But let's look at this chunk and make it into a word. If I put a T right in front of here and we sound it out, we get ta, app, tap. Now we can pretty easily read the word tap, and we can pretty easily sound out the word tap and be able to spell it. Now, just from knowing that one word, let's see how many we can figure out. If we only change the first sound from a T to an N, we get app, nap. Now, if we only change the first sound from an N to an M, we would get app, map. And so far, these are all looking the same at the end. Now, do you think you look like other people in your family? I do. I know I look a lot like my daughter, Elizabeth. People tell us that all the time. You look so much alike. Now, when people tell you you look alike, that's because you're in a family. These words are in a word family. So let's look at some more here. Let's do an L. We change it to an L in the beginning, we would get app, lap. Now we're going to do something else where I'm going to put that L down here and we still have lap. But let's see what happens if we add one in the front of here. Could we still pretty easily figure that out? We could sound it out. Cla, app, clap. Now let's say I want to take this S and put it here. We would get app, slap. All those words are in the app word family because that chunk or part of the word app all looks the same, just like me and Elizabeth. I'll have to show you a picture of her sometime. Now, we're going to try something on the other side where we change that chunk a little bit. We still have the a, but we're going to put a y at the end. And when there's a y at the end, it changes the sound of that a to make it a long a sound. It makes it a. So that chunk right there is a. Like when you're being cool, you go a. All right, so I think you guys know this one pretty easily. If we put a D in front of that, that gives us day. You know what? We talk about the days of the week every day. We look back here behind me. Look at that chunk. That's what Chunky Monkey gets super excited about. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Chunky Monkey loves how it says day in every single day of the week. So that's why I thought you guys would know that chunk day pretty easily. You've been seeing that for a long time. Now I'm going to put that chunk A here again. And then we're going to put an S in front. So if we have an S in the front in the beginning instead of a D, it makes it say. Here comes the chunk again. And if I put H in front, it becomes, do you think you know? Say it out loud. Hey. And if I put that chunk in front there, and this time I put an L right in front of there, it becomes lay. And I need to get one more letter Y for us. So we can make one more down here. We have A. Now I know you guys know lay because we just looked at it up here, but I also know that you know the word play because it's something that you do all the time. Now, if I take a C and I put it right in here, let's see if we can figure this out. Clay. So by knowing the chunk A, we can figure out all those other words. That means just by knowing a chunk of a word, like that one or that one, those word families, that helps us to be able to read other words, and it also helps us to be able to write other words. So we can do so much just by knowing one of those. All right, and move that out of our way. I'm going to bring up our yellow phonics poem book. And today we're going to work on the page. Yeah, and last time we did the librarian with the little boy there. And today we're going to work on the other side. So we just go right over to the next page, 58, where the man and the boy are laying down on the ground looking at the clouds. And in the clouds, they think they see certain things like a bus, a cat, or a whale. And when we are looking here today, we are working this week on SH and TH. So you're going to need your highlighter. And you're going to be highlighting any words that you find. It's also good to read as much as you possibly can from this. It says, my dad and I are going to eat our lunch in the park today. Remember, we're looking for SH and TH. I can highlight those at the top to help you remember. People with, oh, there's a TH at the end of with. Balls and bats go to this. Do you see my tongue? Park just to play. In the shade, oh, it starts with an SH. We lie in the grass and look at shapes in the sky. I think, out goes my tongue, I see a shark. Oh, he sees it in the clouds. A bus and a cat in the clouds way up high. So today you're going to use your highlighter, find all your SH and TH words, and try to start to read as much as you can of your phonics poem. And your grown-up can help you some too with that, okay? Next thing we're going to do is listen to or look at the stories we've been working on. So we've been working on Snow is Falling and Snowmen at Night. Now we're going to move on over. We've been talking about knowing when these books are fiction or when they're nonfiction. So we're going to move on over to my other chart here where I wrote down some things. And we're going to talk about Snow is Falling and Snowmen at Night. We talked about how Snowman at Night is fiction. That is made up. That is fantasy. That is make-believe, could not happen. Snow is falling was nonfiction. That means the truth, real, facts. We learned things from it. Okay, so now we're going to write down on this side for snow is falling what kinds of things we learned that were facts and helped us to know that that book is nonfiction. Well, let's see. What did we learn? All snowflakes have, do you remember how many sides? All snowflakes have how many sides? You remember? You can say it. 6. Yeah, all snowflakes have 6 sides, or 6 points, really. What else did we learn? Snow can be good and snow can be bad. You remember ways that snow can be bad and dangerous? It can cause a blizzard. A blizzard is when it snows and snows for a whole day or so, and there's so much that cars can't get through, and you can't walk anywhere, and it can be dangerous just because there's so much of it. And when that happens, something bad about that happens when it melts, if it melts too fast. You remember what can happen if it melts too fast? It can cause a flood. So that can cause a flood when it melts. And that was bad for people and bad for animals. Our houses get full of water. The animals have to scatter and go find a new place to be so they're not drowning in all that water. So that's a couple of ways that snow can be bad that we learned about. But snow can be good. Snow, if it's not too much like that, gives water to our plants and our animals. Okay, so that's something we learned. It can be good. It can be good for plants and animals. Do you remember the way that it can be good for people? What's something you get to do when there's nice fresh snow outside? Go play in it, right? Make a snowman. Do fun things in it. So it can be fun to play in. Now, those are the things that we learned, and so we know that this book is nonfiction. It has facts. We learned from it. Now, the other story, Snowmen at Night. That one was fiction. So I'm going to write over here that snow is falling. Non-fiction. Non-fiction is true. Snowman at Night, that was fiction. Fiction is make-believe. It's fun, it's funny, it can be silly, and it can't really happen. So let's think about snowmen at night. What did those snowmen do that let us know that That can't really happen. Oh, the snowmen at night, they came alive. That can't really happen. And what did they do when they were outside at night? They played games. Snowmen played games. Snowmen can't really play games. What did they drink? Do you remember? They drank hot chocolate. Snowmen do not really drink hot chocolate. They threw snowballs. Do you think of something I didn't say yet? They went down the hills. They went sledding. Did they do anything else? What else did they do? They were skating on a pond. That's a lot of things that snowmen can't really do. So that lets us to know that snowmen at night. Fiction. Fiction is make believe. And snow is falling. Nonfiction. It's true. All right, friends, you have some jobs to take care of today in Seesaw.